Let's get started. I may not yet be able to talk loud well so far today because I may not be able to talk loud well so far today because I just had my wisdom teeth removed last week. So for whatever reason I have left, it doesn't have a teeth, it doesn't bite. So ask questions if you need it. So today with the session what I'm going to talk about is like USC's experience going through the early adapter programs for the NDE, and it's just our personal experience. Your miles may vary, so take it with whatever grain of salt or sugars you want it. So I'm going to go over with our original plan with NDE and what we originally thought it would be, and our plans, and then going through the process, what I have seen, what I have feel like the product, my observations through the whole early adopter programs, and then also going to discuss a little bit like what's the next steps we thought it might happen. So for us, USC has joined the early adapter programs when Xlibris put up a call for participants. Towards the end of last year's, and we officially start to meet as early adapter sometime in January, February. We started to have a monthly meeting with Xlibris folks, and we have received our instance of NDE in the sandbox sometime towards March, like February, March, that time frame. Our original thoughts is it should be like somewhat easy to do, because in our Primo instance, we mostly has not done any customizations. It's mostly vanilla VEs. What we have done so far is put our logo on it, changing some colors, and that's about it. Like we don't, like I know like some school has like some fancy customizations. We have mostly shy away from doing fancy customizations. So we thought it should be fairly easy, slap our logo, changing some colors, we should call it a day. So that's why we want to do the early adapter, because we can get it down with and not think about it again. And especially at the beginning of the year, I don't have many other projects to do. So I need to fill the time slots with the NDE migration plans. But then we get started onto the project, and we realize like, so to implement NDE, we also have to implement mixed panel. So one project becomes two. We also have to learn how to use mixed panel instead of Primo Analytics. It's it's a big difference, but we don't have too much reports we have to run. But it's also like added things we have to learn. So that's addition. And then roughly in May of this year, we finally are able to start creating customization packages, and that's already slightly behind schedules, because originally we were told we should be able to start creating customization packages in around March. And in March, we do see the upload functions in our backend, but we were told like, don't do anything with it. It's not going to work. So I didn't do anything. So pretty much the only time, the time we started to actually can work on the migration is the past summer. So at the time, in May, I did create some basic NDE customization packages and uploaded it into our instance. Later on, if you guys want to see it, I can show it to you. I can show it. And then also the third-party add-ons are gradually coming online more towards the later half of the summer. Right now, we are working with Third Ion to test the libkey add-ons for the NDE packages. And I also know the SpringShare is working on their add-ons for NDE, and I can show you how the libkey is working in our NDE later on in the I have some screenshots. And also one of the things we have to think about it and I haven't do much is change management. How are we going to manage our internal expectations on when this NDE may come online and what kind of changes you expect to see, so everybody can be prepared. And I also have to say what kind of things we plan to change, like when we're going to plan the change. So finding the perfect time frame for the cutover is also an art. We have to figure that out. So we haven't reached that stage yet. So we haven't have a firm time frame on where we might go live with the NDE. Originally, I was thinking about the winter, but since I have watched how University of Toronto launched its NDE at the beginning of the fall, I say no way. Because like we have a base camp projects for all the early adopters. During the day, University of Toronto switch on to NDE. I have seen a whole bunch of urgent emails coming into the projects. So I say, why? Why you guys want to do it so early? So I say, probably winter break is too early. So like at earliest, I can think about summer. Even the summer, maybe. I don't think so, but we'll see. So some of the issues we have observed so far is, so originally what we learned from Ex Libris is the reason they need to develop this NDE experience is the underlying technology stack for current Primo VE, specifically the AngularJS, is being deprecated, and they will have to redevelop using a new tech anyway. So I guess they take this opportunity to do some redevelopment and to redesign the product. And so far we have seen like the NDE product is still very fluid. A lot of features are changing, and a lot of things are changing by the date. And for example, like one of the signature feature in the NDE is the facet panel is hidden by default. I mean, like they do have some research data to support their claim on not enough people are using the facet panels, and I don't know, but that's their original design. And just yesterday, when I'm preparing my presentation, I saw they put out a note on the roadmap for NDE. They said that eventually next year, they will develop a feature for us to say, do we want the facet panel to show up by default or not? So I think that's one of the major changes in the design, but I think I kind of like it. I kind of like it the way for us to say, do we want it to show up by default or not? So a lot of features are changing, and also there's one note on the roadmap says the browse search feature is coming up in next few release. So this is one of the problems we have working on the early migration, migration to the NDE as early adopter is a lot of features in Primo VE isn't yet available in NDE. I know that they are working on it, but so far we don't have a comprehensive chart telling us which feature is not yet available and which feature is on the pipeline. So we kind of have to do our own comparison. Sometimes we may not notice a feature is missing until someone mentioned it. And there is quite a few features that's still missing. Like the save search function is not there yet, but it's on the roadmap because that shows up on the roadmap. So I know that feature is missing. And the linked data feature, the author box, is not yet available either. That one should be available sometime next year. That's what I have been told. And so that's some of the issues we have observed so far. Also, for me, developing the customization package from ground up, there are some learning curves. There are some learning curves to be made. One, I think one of the biggest issues is like, this is a new technology. I have to learn it from ground up. And also, for current Primo VE, it has been out for so many years. A lot of people has developed some kind of custom solutions and posted somewhere, either on their blog post or on the listserv or on some of the sites that the community shares. Whenever I have a question on how to solve a problem, I can draw on those existing solutions and learn from those existing solutions, change it a little bit, and then make it work for our side. But so far, because NDE is so new, yeah, like our early adopter has to develop everything from ground up, from zero. So it's a lot more work than what I originally thought, even though we don't intend to do a lot of customizations. And so that's one of the learning curves I have to look at. And also, there will no longer be a Primo Studio. I don't know if any of you guys use Primo Studio. I don't know, probably not a lot. Like originally, there was a function out there. It's more like you can do a low code or no code easy way to create a customization packages. And there are also a community of add-ons, a community of solutions right available in the Primo Studio where you can kind of drag and draw it, although it doesn't really drag and draw, but like you can kind of drag and draw and create your own Primo customization packages. That function is also like being deprecated, so they're not going to have that function anymore. But they do give you like, but if you all you want is changing the color, they have a quick selection tools in the backend, the configurations where you can change the colors and change the logos. Fairly easy, but if you want to do anything more than that, you will have to do a lot more things than the drag and drop. But it does have a tool in NDE where it make it easy to install like third-party add-ons, like the way we install Primo the libkeys the libkey add-on is like you get a URL from third ion, you go into your configurations in Primo, you put a URL in there, and there are a couple configurations you can do it within the Alma configurations. So that's an improvement because now you have so you have easier way to install the third-party add-ons. The third thing is accessibilities. I have not yet done any comprehensive audits on the accessibilities for the Primo NDE yet, but I know like that's going to be something I will have to do before we can launch it. Like now the requirements for accessibility is more strengthened right now. Like we have to do quarterly testing. Like we have to write a report every quarter to our accessibility office on like for all the product we manage. So like when we launch a new product, there will be a very comprehensive testing we have to do. And I heard some of the issues early on, but I think they are working on it. But that's one of the things I will have to do for accessibilities. And if you and also the next thing is like if you're looking at a most recent Primo release notes, you will quickly realize there is going to be almost no new features for existing Primo, especially in the last two release cycles. So it looks like all of their development efforts is going to NDE, and I mean, eventually we will have that's going to be all their focus on. And for the mixed panels, I don't know if anybody has a chance to use it so far. It's a very different reporting environment from the current Primo Analytics report. So I guess one of the things we'll have to think about is the data continuity issues. Like going forward, like when we write a report comparing this year's number to last year's number, especially if you're going across with last year is on Primo Analytics, this year is on the next panel. The issues you might have to work on is there are differences, and how are you going to explain the difference across these two platforms? And because they collect data slightly different, and some of the difference in numbers may be attributed to the difference in systems. Some of the changes may be attributed to the different behaviors. So there will be a lot of explanations you will have to do in that case. So okay, so the third-party add-ons I just mentioned, we are currently working with Third Ion on developing the libkey add-ons for NDE, and for the Spring Shares, I didn't use their add-ons so far yet, but I was able to mostly using the existing JavaScript code from SpringShare with minor tweaks, and to have like lib chat function still in NDE. So even if you don't use their add-ons, it's not going to be a very complicated change to have the lib chat available. I'm not sure about other third-party add-ons. From what I heard is the stack map is working on add-ons for the NDE. I don't know the status yet, but I know they are working on add-ons. There may be some third-party, like say if you're using the Google Analytics, there shouldn't be too complicated to insert their tracking code in NDE. I have tried some of the code. You can mostly copy and paste it into the NDE. It should work most of the time, unless you have some very specific behavior trackings where you may need to figure out where you can attach it to those specific actions you want to track. And from what I heard is, Exlibris is planning on some kind of third-party add-on marketplace, something where they will manage some of the solutions where you may be able to copy and paste into your NDE. Previously, in the Primo Studio, there is also a solutions market, but I believe last solutions market was managed by the community. I think the Iluna has some other, the Primo working group was managing the list of add-ons and solutions in the Primo Studio, but I think Exlibris took on the responsibility of managing add-ons in the NDE environment. And the other thing is like we probably need to, I mean, once in next month's release, pretty much everybody will be able to get an NDE instance in their Primo environment, and I will expect more of a community will start trying out doing the customizations, and I will expect a lot of traffic on the listserv, and people may see some customizations from other institutions where they can learn from and plan on their own path, the NDE migration. So this is one of our screenshot from our NDEs, and the download PDF button. This is our libkey add-ons at work. So the view issues, contents, and download PDF. This is from link to our libkeys, and they have offered us a few solutions. Like sometimes you have like drop downs. You can do drop downs. You can do buttons. That's one of the ways you will put it in there. And I think even if you don't have libkey, the Primo nowadays have some kind of similar function to for some of the item, the ebooks, or for some of the articles. They also have a direct link to PDF. So what the libkey works is like they are replacing the libkey add-on. They are replacing the Primo's native link to PDF with the libkey's link, and they also added additional link to PDF for those libkey doesn't. That's for Primo's doesn't have it natively. And the all filter here, that's where right now they are still hidden the facets. If you have to click on that all filter to see the facets so far. And that's the screenshots from our instance so far. There are some of the resources where I think it might be helpful for you to look at if you are planning your trips, planning your migrations to NDE. We have like the Exlibris has a accessibility roadmap for Primo, where you can see what kind of issues and what kind of the problems they are aware of, and they are planning on fixing it. The Exlibris also has a NDE known issues and roadmap where they are charted out some of their planned features in future developments. Because I know like they don't have much consortium features right now, and I think they probably focus on that consortium feature next year. I have seen quite a few features on their roadmap related to the consortiums. And so I mean, so like you can look at like when all those features are coming online. So maybe you can plan on when you want to start developing your customizations, or you will want to start circulating it internally, looking for opinions. Because that's when, because like if you show it too early to internally, like you might get a question on why this feature is not there. I mean, it's not there because it's on the roadmap for next year. So you can plan it out, like what's the time frame for it's to best circulating it internally, soliciting feedback and planning your customizations. And there are quite a few blog posts on the Exlibris developer networks that talk about NDEs. They have started writing up quite a few blog posts on the developer networks. I think right now from what I heard is like they heavily focus on using development network to provide guidance on the NDE migrations, and that's one of the blog posts I have quoted here. For example, this one they talk about how to use customization packages, and they have quite a few useful links to referring to other part of the development process. So that's all the things I have right now. Do you have any thoughts, or do you have any questions that I can answer so far? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Susie from River Law School. What happens to the permalinks when you do migrate to NDE?
I don't have an answer for that yet. I need to check if anybody has asked for that question yet. But from what I understand, it should be able to redirect. It should be able to, but I need to double check on that. I don't know that yet, but I think that shouldn't be too difficult to redirect.
I have more of a comment. Great presentation. I just wanted to mention that Kuhn is on the steering committee. He's the Primo and Accessibility Community of Practice Liaison. So he serves on the steering committee with me and others. So I just wanted to point that out, that he's really great. So.
I mean, I started working on the early adopter before I joined.
Hi, Ellen from UCI, the Law Library. So I have a question about me and my special needs. I use some community-developed troubleshooting little snippets of code, right? Browser. I want to see the Doc ID on my screen. I want to get to troubleshooting screens. Have people already developed those for NDE, or do I have to wait for some clever person who knows more JavaScript?
Yeah, I think that's one of the problem of going onto NDE early is none of those things exist for NDE. You will have to redevelop them for NDE. So you either have to do it yourself or wait for somebody to realize that problem and do it for you. But then it becomes a chicken and egg problem. If nobody goes out, nobody develops it, right? Yeah, it becomes, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. Did you enable the natural language searching with NDE? Because that's something you can turn on and off.
The natural language search is coming online next November release. So it's not available yet. It's coming online in November. And the natural language search is only available in NDE since we have not go live with NDE. I mean, we can turn it on for us internally to test it, to try it out, because it's not going to impact our production server. And from what I understand is the natural language search is translating your question into some search keywords, search terms, and then put it back into the Primo to do a search.
When you said that the facets were disabled by default, but does that mean that you can enable them? Like they're just turned off by default?
Oh, so the facet panel, the everything you see on to the right hand side, let me show you. right now you can't see them. It's not showing up by default. So currently you have to click on that all filters to see the panels.
But you cannot turn that off, like in your customization package, you can't say we want filters to be displayed by default. You can't change the default setting.
From the Primo NDE's roadmap, they said that feature is coming online next year. So eventually there will be an option in the NDE to say I want that panel to show up by default. I hope so. But not yet.
I mean, along that line of thinking, like as an early adopter, you're kind of doing a lot of untape testing for the vendor.
Yes. Yes.
So what was your experience with that? I mean, when you have concerns like that, are they just kind of going on the list, you know, to be resolved at some future point? Or do you feel like Xlibris was pretty responsive with your requests or suggestions?
So a lot of time they are, I think for this feature, they're probably getting a lot of pushbacks. So I think they decided to put it on their roadmaps for the facets. And so I think eventually, like if enough of people tell Xlibris like we don't like this feature, I mean they are taking our inputs. But I mean like I don't know how much what we tell them is really impacting their development process, because like there's only like 6-7 early adopters in there. It's not a huge size. It's not like a lot of people, but I think they are listening to some of our concerns. But I mean, it's unless it's like an emergency questions, because I remember there's one time I know like there's kind of emergency questions, like when you email a link to somebody else through the email, the records, like somehow they emailed a link with login session attached. So they quickly patch that problems, but because it's like an emergency problems. But otherwise, like the comments we have, they are going through their internal design process, and then their project manager will look at the feedbacks and then assign like a priorities and decide how much efforts they're going to put on that request, or maybe they can say no, like they are not obligated to do it, but they are taking some of the feedback into their decision-making processes.
I don't know if you can answer this question, but since they're introducing natural language search, do you think that will end up replacing the search in Primo?
I don't know, like because like during our early adopter programs, nobody mentioned they're going to do they didn't tell us they're going to do a natural language search until the product is already there in beta. Yeah. So we are not aware they are doing the natural language search. But from what I understand right now, it's like the natural language search is a separate box. During the presentation, we did ask, why don't you use like the default search box to do natural language search? Like, why do we have to type our query in a separate search box instead of the default search box? From what the Xlibris folks told us, they worry about the costs, because if every Primo search has to call a ChatGPT engine, like it's going to be very expensive quickly for them to run all the queries over AI. So I don't think they're going to replace the default search box, but that I will have to see. Maybe they eventually figure out a cheap way to run every query through AI. Thank you.
Along those lines, have you heard anything about potential passing on costs to the libraries regarding that, or is there be an allocation as there been any discussion on that, about costs for the natural language?
I know so far they have some kind of control on how many such quotas you have. But I mean, so I think now, they didn't give us very, like last time when they present the preview on natural language search, they didn't give us too much details on how much quota we're going to get. Because I think for now, they are still trying to figure out how many people will eventually use that product, and then it translates to how much the cost is. So I don't think they know what's going to happen next yet. Anything else?
Just a stupid question. How many, so at the beginning, how many years until everyone has to be an NDE? Do you remember? Is it 3 years?
I remember in Igloo, they mentioned like sometime in 2028, they expect the majority is on NDE, I think. I didn't go to Igloo. Is it?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't know if it's a question or a comment, but since you're on the accessibility distribution, I'm on that list too, but I haven't kept up with everything that's going on. But you know how we're having that whole April 2026 accessibility requirements with what is it, WAG, whatever number that is. I'm just wondering, because I was like you, I'm like, should I invest and try to come up with that summer transitioning over to NDE? So I'm like, where's the investment? Should I invest in looking at VE and trying to focus on getting that ready for this, or invest in NDE to just try to get that up to speed? So I'm kind of like trying to, oh wait, where should I invest my time and focus to get ready for that April deadline? And I don't know if those conversations are happening in the listservs, or are you just aware?
What college are you?
In Victor Valley.
Yeah, you know, I'm at West LA, and I think.
And I know you guys, I know it's on your radar.
Yeah, we're part of the Los Angeles Community College District, but we're waiting. I think we're probably gonna wait, but we're until the summer,
You guys are waiting, okay.
until everything settles down.
That page that you had with where the accessibility roadmap, it doesn't seem like they're anywhere on anything, unfortunately.
You
Which
know,
is
but
nervous.
we're supposed to have that
That's right.
requirement by the April. Yeah,
We're supposed to have it now.
well, I know, but you know, you got that looming dates coming in, I'm like, I'm thinking winter, I'm gonna start doing all these accessibility.
You know, Pierce College gave a really interesting presentation on how to create an accessible search box. I actually replaced my search box that I had with that search box, and it's great, it's fabulous. So you might want to check with Pierce College because, or with Orange, because that they did a presentation on accessibility.
No, it's more of like where I'm gonna spend my time on this, like, do I spend it on what we have existing, or do I spend my efforts on something that we're planning? So that's
Yeah,
just kind of more of an out loud.
For me, I just customized the entity already, and I just wait until everything settles down. I've already done the work. The hard part for me was the SVG image, because there wasn't really any software to do that, so I had to buy some software to create an SVG image. I just can't sit after I bought it.
Oh, yeah, I've got that already, yeah.
But that was the only challenge for me, was the SVG image, generating that.
Right.
Custom image. And the rest, it's different. It's different on the homepage. The coding is different, and I'm linking out to external libguide pages. So
Are you guys hearing anything in your listservs about any conversations happening with existing issues in the discovery layer? Any conversations happening on that?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the question. No, because I was trying to say, it's like, maybe you can go to the available features, functionalities, and release plan for NDE UI, and take a look at the release plan so far. They have spelled out what features they're going to support in next year. So they have a feature support for the 2 remaining months this year, and then the quarterly release next year's. So you can see like at which stage you think there's enough features for you to say, I'm comfortable of going live with this product. And then you can say, is next summer a good time? Like you can decide next summer is a good time for you to good enough for you to launch as a product. Then you can decide, should I spend more time on the NDE or should I spend more time on VE? And also like in their plan, accessibility plan, I think Exlibris mentioned like they have 2 rounds of audit based on the 2.2, the CAG 2.2 and at A and AA levels. And I think in November they will update their VPATs to reflect the audits, and they are going to do another round of audits in Q2 of next year. So we'll see. So then we can look at the updated VPAT to see where they are in the WCAG 2.2 compliance.
Gotcha.
And then maybe we can verify. And I think then you can run some check, verify like, yes, this is, the VPAT is correct, accurate, and then whatever issues left there, right? You can decide what you want to do with it.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Okay.
I was just asking, University of Toronto went live.
Yes.
Anybody else went live?
There is a list. I know University of Rochester's music library, and then there are a whole bunch of European libraries. So far on the list, I don't know if I can see the, let me see if I, oh, okay, that's not my computer. It's not my computer. So, I know there is a spreadsheet out there that's tracking who has Go NDE. So far, the so far the North America, there's only 2, Toronto and Rochester, University of Rochester Music Library. And then there are like 3 or 4 in Europe, like 1 in, I forget about it's either New Zealand or Australia. I don't remember which one it is.
Who else is in the early adopters? There's only 5 or 6.
The Toronto is in early adopter programs. I think Rochester is the Rochester Music is also, and then then there are, I think they are running early adopters separately for US, North America, and then for the Europes. Like anything else? Okay. If not, you get 2 minutes back.